computer says 9 o'clock. I call this Sawyer County Public Safety Committee meeting to order. Do we have roll call, Madam Clerk?
Ron Buckles,
Present.
Ed Peters,
Present.
Jason Weaver, Mark Helwig, Marshall Savitsky.
Present.
Okay, we have a quorum. Pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Certification of compliance with open meeting law, Madam Clerk.
The meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin.
Okay, thank you. Meeting agenda has been presented. It looks okay to me. Any questions with the other board members? Okay, if not, we don't need a motion to approve that, do we? Okay. All right, public comment. At this time, members of the public will be given the opportunity to address the committee on items not on the agenda. So is there anybody out on there wants to speak in the public comment? Okay. Number 7, consider of approval of the previous meeting minutes. Need a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Peters. Marshall, you second that? I'll second it. We have a motion by Mr. Peters and a second by, we'll put Marshall down there then. Savitsky to approve the previous public safety minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 8, Circuit Court Judge's Report. Judge is not here. I didn't see no report from the judge. So, okay, Courthouse remodel update. Andy?
So I think like we were talking here a few minutes ago, still working on the utility reroutes. Got the asphalt pulled off so prepare the area for construction. We had to obviously fence in the construction area, relocated some parking. As far as the timeline, everything, their current timeline from when we broke ground is still on schedule. Some delay with getting the veteran service building down, but that's been cleaned out and everything rerouted. So it was running through that building. Just looking through the report, pretty much is where we're at as far as I know today. Only thing from a progress meetings, we do have them, the architects working on looking at the generator issue and hopefully coming to the conclusion that we can use the generator we have rather than acquiring a second generator.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Andy? Marshall, got any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right, Clerk of Courts. Marge is not here, but she did give us a report. Did you guys look at her report? Any questions with it? None?
Questions?
I did not. No.
Okay, thank you. District Attorney's Office. I talked to the District Attorney this morning. He told me they don't have a whole lot to report other than all the crime that's going on. So that's what he told me. So, all right, number 11, Sheriff's Department report. Sheriff, you got anything you want to add before we go on here?
Nothing more at this time.
Okay, all right. Communication Center report.
So we're still down 2 full-time dispatchers. Our dispatch staff has been working a lot of overtime trying to cover shifts. We also have a couple deputies that are trained in dispatch that are helping out down there along with one part-timer. We did hire two about 5 weeks ago. Of those two, we still have one still in training. The other decided that dispatching wasn't for him. So we have no update on the recording of the new third dispatch station yet. We're still waiting on quotes from the phone provider. No updates on the hand-free headsets, so we're still waiting on hardware to integrate with the radio consoles. And Corey's been working with Nate, and Nate can probably expound a little more on the Nixle system and the emergency alert system. So I don't know if you got something more you want to say about that.
You want to do it now, Nate, or you want?
Yeah, I can do it now.
Okay.
So at LAPC, we brought up a couple months ago, our contract for Nixle, our emergency alerting system, expires in July. So we were just trying to figure out if we wanted to continue to use, you can use Nixle, or if we wanted to use a different system. I mean, they've got Code Red, some counties use HyperReach. They all pretty much do the same thing. Nixle has never treated us wrong. It's just they normally do a 3-year contract, so that'll be coming up in July. Conversation was probably just keep it, but then have dispatch, since we've had a lot of new dispatchers since the last 3 years, to get them retrained on how to use the system and be more comfortable with it. So that was kind of the conversation with Nixle so far.
Well, this Nixle, I have it and I've never had any problem with it, so I don't see why we need to change it.
Right.
You guys, sure?
Agree with you.
And the other issue when you go to change is that you have to get everybody else re-registered on a new system.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Which if you talk to a different company, they're okay with, because they're like, there's a lot of people that probably don't want to be registered anymore, that maybe have moved or whatever else, but at the same time, then they can just deregister, whatever you want to call it, deactivate the system.
So we need to renew that contract, and does that have to be put back on the agenda to renew it?
I don't know. I mean, that would
Andy,
be
you
a question for
know?
Andy.
I don't know which policy is. I mean, if it's same terms, probably just
Right. I gotta reach back out to them and see what the cost, if they're upping it or not.
Yeah, and then
too.
I guess we could put it back on July's agenda.
Yep.
And then we can talk about it more, then, okay.
Yep, that works.
All right.
Yeah, always been getting my messages and it's very helpful.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay, number B, patrol report, Lieutenant Rapinski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You can see from the report, we had a slight lull last month or in April rather, with patrol call volume was slightly down. It's back up over 800 again. And we see that that's probably in line for what we were last year. It's 817 for this month, 811 for this time last year. During the course, you can see through the report that citations remain pretty steady, about 22 traffic offenses, 0 written warnings, and 41 non-traffic citations. We expect that to decline during the summer months. School is out, the majority of those were the truancy citations. Our crashes for the previous month, our community maps was 13 crashes, 12 total crashes, 2 with personal injuries and no additional fatalities. So we're currently steady with 1 fatality for the year. We recently held a tabletop exercise with our school safety team, area law enforcement partners, and the Hayward Community School District. We are gearing up for a scenario-based training exercise in August prior to the start of next year. This has been on the table. We've been working with it for the past year now. It's echoed by what happened down in Texas, but it's always in the back of our minds that could happen any time up here. So we're constantly preparing for that. And as you can see, we have increased travel through Sawyer County, which brings more traffic and more traffic interdiction for officers. So even though you may not see traffic citations going up, you will probably see criminal complaints and drug complaints going up as well.
Great. Any questions for the lieutenant?
Just the one thing that you brought up with regard to the incident in Texas, and with the, shall we say, lack of support in dispatch. Do do you see any, I mean, that was probably the most depressing part besides the deaths, the time lag in there. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are, thinking about that. Are there any concerns that you all have, I guess, with regard to that?
Well, it's always a concern because we always have limited staff.
Mhm.
And if you're looking at some of the numbers that are coming out of Texas, some of the after action reports right now, they were very, I would say, prepared, even though their response may have been questionable in some of the aspects of it, but they had their own police force there. They had, such a massive response immediately there.
Mhm.
So we're always looking for different things. We have different trained officers, the chief was talking about deputies that are cross-trained in dispatch. They'd be utilized down there. It kind of just goes with how it happens on that day.
I was gonna ask the chief deputy too, when he was talking on his report, are we getting any applications?
We had 2 shadows last week that came in as that dispatch for a shift, and we have 2 more this week.
Okay,
A lot of them get to the shadow portion of it, and
don't like it?
it's not for them. So we do have, I think we have like 5 applicants right now we're looking at.
Okay. Any more questions for Lieutenant Rapinski?
Question.
Go ahead.
Just in the report, there's 2 CAD reports. I think one comes with the communications center and then one's with patrol. Is there a difference between those reports?
Yeah, the CAD report that the chief reports on are the total calls reported through the dispatch center. The CAD call cases are the only ones assigned to our officers.
So one specific to the sheriff's department, and actually this one is everything for all the 4 departments, fire, EMS, and everything.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any more questions? All right, communications specialist report.
I would like to add a few things and just kind of update
Okay,
here.
go ahead.
Additionally, I did have communication with John direct this morning.
Okay,
High level of frustration here. Unfortunately, we've been dealing with some very high winds here in the last month, which has taken a toll on our progress with the towers here. And we are scheduled here, I believe he said next week here. They weren't able to do it this week because of the forecasted winds here. And as soon as we get 3 days, we do have everything, he said, set. The city of Hayward Tower, the Hayward Tower on B, the Moose Lake Tower, they did complete Meteor Tower, but they have to get with Excel and transfer the equipment over, which should be done in the next week or so. But the Pipestone Tower now is the focus, and if we can get that done, and then the crew will be here, we can aim, they can do their alignment for the microwaves,
sure.
and we should be able to start our testing and go from there, and we're hoping for a quick and smooth transition here.
Okay. All right, and I see he has a report on here. Did everybody read his report?
Yeah, I guess that continuing user equipment concerns and the age of some of the equipment that's out there that people are trying to use is how do we address that? I mean, that's almost on a township by township basis.
It is, especially with the fire departments. We have had some light discussion regarding that, and I'm active with the fire association, and we've had some discussions about that. It's getting to the point where a lot of departments and agencies have end of life equipment here. We're coming up on 12 plus years. So, and that's going to be, on the towns or the counties by department and agency. We have been updating ours with the sheriff's department, and the squads we're updating as we're getting new squads. What are we in the 3rd or 4th year of doing that? In the squads, we've updated all of our portables in the last several years. So we've stayed ahead of that.
And it's all working fine.
Yes.
Okay.
to the best of its ability.
It's-
We're having major challenges and continue with WISCOM, and I can let Lieutenant Johnson expound more, but in our communication with them, typically the response back is they're dealing with staffing shortages.
Well, that seems like to be with everything. Staff. All right. Any questions on communication systems report? Marshall, what about you?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you. June Public Safety Committee report. Oh, any questions with that? And can you update us on that or what? The Public Safety Committee, what is that?
That was a communication system.
Communications, okay, it's all the same thing,
Yep,
all right.
Yep,
Can we eliminate? Oh,
Okay.
yeah, okay, I see, it's, never
Yeah,
mind,
you haven't
okay.
printed it.
We already talked about that, all right. All right, number D, jail report, Lieutenant Johnson.
Thank you. As you can see, my report's up there. Our average daily population for May is down about 5 from April, which was nice to see. Interestingly enough, the males dropped significantly, but our female population is quite high compared to normal. The pre-sentence incarceration percentage is where our high population is coming from, and that's a bottleneck with our busy court system. So obviously we're getting the second courtroom going and everything will hopefully help alleviate that in the coming years. And then inmate cells down in Barron, that is primarily because of staffing levels. We're down 2 full-time positions right now. We do have a part-time male who is 1 year through the 2-year law enforcement program. Is just about done with training. He'll be weekends, holidays, and summer part-time position. And then we have a female she completed 1 shadow. She's doing her 2nd shadow this coming weekend. So hopefully she has some interest and we can get going. And then I'm meeting with another male mid-month. That's going to be, he and his family are relocating from the Milwaukee area up to here. So hopefully we can get going with that. And then, with the construction, just kind of everything's a day-by-day basis. We're gonna Monday be emptying out our entire property storage room, which will probably be a day or 2 project. So they can punch through that wall here in a couple of weeks.
Okay. Any questions for Lieutenant Johnson? Okay, not. Animal control report, we don't have nothing.
no report.
Okay, child support department report. She sent us a report. Any questions on it? Peters, questions? Marshall, any questions on it?
No, I don't have any questions.
Okay. All right, number 13, coroner report. Do we have him on there?
no, unless there was one phone number, I don't know who was on the phone number.
Okay, and any questions on the coroner's report?
Maybe just a comment.
Okay,
Note that he's not going to be running for the position. The deadline for anybody interested is Friday.
That extends the deadline for filing for candidates until tomorrow at 5 p.m. So if anyone is interested in running for coroner, we need 200 signatures and a candidacy packet by 5 p.m. tomorrow. Otherwise, there will be no names on the ballot.
so then how does that work?
Write in,
Right in? Okay.
but then the write-in do not have to accept the position.
Oh, okay, all right.
He does have a comment in here about his intent the next term to bring up switching to a medical examiner. Some counties have done that. Because of the timing, though, I don't think we have to let the election run out. That's a conversation that could happen at some time.
Okay. All right, Any questions on this report?
Yes. With his term ending, the last couple of months, he's done some very nice reports, and those have been very helpful. I wish they would have transpired earlier in his
Yeah,
tenure,
yeah.
but the detail was very good.
Okay. All right, number 14, emergency management ambulance report. Mr. Dunstan, you're up.
So just a couple of meetings next week. Wednesday, I've got the regional EM meeting. I'm not really sure what's on the agenda yet for that. Still, work in progress on the EOP for the county. Did request from towns and villages their copies of emergency operational plans that they have, just because with the elections and everything kind of changing over. Trying to get all the updated people and phone listings and everything else. Did have LEPC last week, Wednesday. I attached the draft minutes to that. See if you want to take a look. We did have that airport familiarization training on the 21st. We had about 20 fire personnel that showed up, and some EMS personnel. There was the Sirius aircraft maker that was there. They put in those ballistic parachutes into their airplanes, which is nice because you get a parachute, but if they crash and the parachute doesn't go off, then you really have to watch, because it's like what they said, it's kind of like a missile or rocket on the plane. So fire is now, they did a very good presentation on what to look for and whatever else. We had fire from all over the place. Winter showed up, Hayward, Round Lake, Bass Lakes. So Radisson. I've got a meeting this afternoon on the Intercounty Trail Signage Group at 1 with the Canba Trails with Bayfield County zoning office, which has been going pretty well. We have most of our GPS units, at least in EMS, and a lot of them on the fire side already have the points that have already been put out for the USNG points. We're still working on dispatch to see if we can get them into CAD though. And then school safety planning, they already talked about. Been recently working on trying to get the road permit for the detour for Trout Fest approved for the parade. Ambulance billing update. So like I said last month, the LifeQuest reports run about the 8th, 9th, 10th of the month. So of course we're always going to be a month behind, but I did attach that into the report so you guys can take a look at what LifeQuest is doing on the financials. So we should have another one here coming up probably next week, I would say, to print out, and I'll attach that again. We're still short. We're short four full-time positions. Haven't really got any good applicants at all. But we do have school ending here soon, so we might, once they start getting tested, we might get some applicants on the EMT side. Paramedics are full. And then of course we have Woodchop coming up, Muskie Fest. So we'll have a standby unit at Woodchop event, and then the parade. So other than that, that's all I've got.
Oh, okay. Any questions for Mr. Dunstan?
No.
What's that?
I said no. No questions.
Thank you. All right, Lynn, where's that resolution at on here? I don't see it.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. It's next month, I think she said.
Oh,
Didn't she? It's July, sorry.
okay, all right. I was wondering. I didn't see
Roses.
it.
Oh, not Roses.
All right, just, okay, Criminal Justice Coordinating Council update.
I think most of the discussion there has been on the opioid settlement and the use of those funds. Discussing mental health needs in the jail, community treatment options, those types of things. Maybe more so adding some things to the agenda there. County did receive the TAD grant first of the year to start up a drug court. So we're getting a progress report on that. The court was intended to get started yet sometime this year. Justice Point's the contractor for that. So we'll be getting an update on that at next week's meeting, see how far along we are. And also talking about pulling together data regarding some of the needs and to support future grant applications for drug court or other treatment options. Update on the opioid settlement is, don't have any final numbers yet. It's still the rough number 750,000. There is an option being put together that we'll learn more about. The 750,000 will come over up to 16 to 18 years. There is an option being put together where we could get majority of the money up front. The initial numbers look like we'll get a payment, the 1/18 payment right away, and then possibly get up to 50% of it in the next year, and then get the remaining 20%, 25% over the remaining 16 years. But you'd be giving up about 30% of the settlement to sell it, to get it up front. So you wouldn't get 200,000 of it. That would be lost in the financing.
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. That's at least the first package that's been presented or put out there for discussion from the county association.
I know, I don't know if any of the supervisors or, I get a lot of emails on wanting to know if they can use the opioid money like you do the ARPA funds. No, that's not how that works. That's what I tell them. It can't. So I don't know if anybody else does, but I get a lot of them on that. So,
Well, there's a very it's a lengthy list of options on how to use the opioid money. But generally it's all going to revolve around prevention and treatment in the opioid area.
I know when Mr. Hoff was here, yet he sent out an email on what he could use it for. I just kept that on there. I look at it a lot, but I know all the supervisors got that, so. Okay, any questions for Andy? Future agenda items? Oh, Sheriff.
A request to start with, could we, in future meetings, move item C below all of the division reports in the sheriff's office?
Move C to E.
After D, yes.
Sure.
And the added thing is, would the committee be interested if in July, we did a short presentation on our new body cams?
Yes.
Our body cams are much more involved than I think a lot of people realize.
Yep, I would love to see that. Yes, so we'll put that on there too.
Okay?
Thank you, Sheriff.
Potential future agenda item, I just want to bring this up so everybody's aware of it. This will be on the admin meeting next week. There was a request for ARPA funds received from the town of Draper for a assistance to fund a helipad in that area. I think that would fall under public safety, but I directed this to the admin committee since we're going to prioritize how we're going to allocate ARPA funds and then on. That was received.
Okay, all right. Any more?
Thank you. I had an email on that yesterday. I responded. I'll get back to it first.
Any more questions, comments? I just want to thank the sheriff's department and all his deputies and lieutenants and the chief deputy and Nate's crew, for the outstanding job you guys are trying to do with the shortage and trying to get people in there. And I just want to tell everybody to be safe out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if nothing else, we're adjourned.